Eddie De La Rosa, he used to be a UDP operative. Now he's the fish from River Bottom. He tells us what he knows about the land of fraud schemes in the Cayo district. And a beloved doctor falls to COVID-19. We'll tell you about the legend of Dr. Bolodomino Barbosa. Plus, he's under pressure from the PM to resign. The chairman of the Elections and Boundaries, Steve Pereira, is not stepping down. Not yet, at least. Also, a smuggler ran out of gas, but here's why. His gas tank was full of weed. Cops caught him when he tried to run on fumes. Plus, we'll show you the new Miss Universe Belize. But is she ready for the universe? You'll find out. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight, Monday, January 11th, 2021. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indira Craig.
For hydration, when the choice is yours, choose the brand you have always trusted. Crystal Water, taste you can trust.
Welcome back to Popsville, where Grandpa Keith and his neighbor Martin are hard at work making way for another big junk haul. But this scrap party is about to come crashing down. Back from a school workshop about Pops, it might be time for Adita to start putting her knowledge to practice.
Did you know that when you dismantle old electronics and car parts, you're exposing yourself and others to persistent organic pollutants? Don't you know what Pops are and their dangers? Well, come, let me show you.
When we dismantle outdated electronics like old TVs, computer monitors, and smartphones, we expose ourselves and our families to highly hazardous chemicals that can affect our health in the long and short term. Not so fast, Martin. This goes for you too. Improper dismantling and disposal of end-of-life vehicles can also release dangerous fumes, which can make your family and those around you very ill. Burning plastic from cables and other e-waste can also create health risks. But if you follow these simple tips, you can prevent the worst from happening. When ready to get rid of your old electronics, contact authorized recyclers and dealers on proper instructions on how to safely dispose of unwanted items. While it's nice to have new things, buying too much can overwhelm our homes with clutter. If you need to purchase, choose long-lasting products or items that are highly recyclable to reduce these hazards. Make sure to check the labels on carpets and mattresses before purchasing, as certain countries require that these products are manufactured with flame retardants that may be hazardous when exposed to us over time. For a safer alternative, consider switching to carpets or mattresses made with POPs-free materials. And finally, it's very important to recycle. Recycling often helps reduce any buildup of unwanted items in homes and yards, keeping us all free from potentially hazardous pollutants. For more information on recycling or on disposing products of concern, contact your local waste management agency or visit stopthepops.com for more details. Sometimes danger lurks where you least expect it. The more you know, the healthier you can grow.
You've worked hard your whole life building your future, your family, your business, your home. And when you aren't around to safeguard your most beloved assets, you are at ease because you know they are protected by RF&G Insurance. For over 50 years, RF&G has been making sure business owners get back to work after an accident, and families get back into their homes quickly after a natural disaster. At RF&G, it's you who matters most. Visit us today and learn why it pays to get it right. RF&G Insurance, a road group company.
It's now easier to monitor your energy usage with the BEL 24/7 mobile app. Just simply take a photo of your current meter number, open the app, go to Calculator, and from the list, select Smart Calculator. Choose your meter number followed by your kilowatt hours, then press Calculate. With this powerful feature, you can easily manage your energy usage. Download the BEL 24/7 mobile app from Google Play or the Apple Store today.
Maggie, season's greetings.
Girl, Patsy, that you that compliments of the season, girl.
Yes, girl. So how you did do? Girl, I'm here, Gary, girl, let go.
Girl, not too bad, you know. That's 6 months now, so we barely feel it. And you're the do big Christmas shopping, though.
Yes, girl. You know, every year the whole family come over to my house. Lot them out to feed. And tell him even while we buy a new sofa set. I don't know who we're gonna try to impress. And you done your big Christmas shopping?
No, girl, no kind of big shopping this year.
I totally understand.
Anyways, make I try come out of this place. Bye.
Not forget your tax receipt.
Receipt? For the little bit of thing?
It no matter, for the sake of accountability, we have to know that for we tax money, they go where it's supposed to go. You don't know, tax is important for the economy of every country. Taxes help pay for education, streets, and other government projects like grocery bag will benefit all of we. And you never know, when the economy pick up back, maybe Gary could even get back a job.
You know, you're right.
It's that time of year again. And whether you're buying gifts for loved ones, shopping for new furniture and appliances, or simply doing business as usual, the Belize Tax Service Department would like to remind you to always ask for a tax receipt with every purchase. Let us all do our part to ensure the further growth of Belize. Together we build our country, your contribution, our development. You have a neighbor throwing a party? Do you know of anyone holding a social event? Have you seen people not following protocols set in place to reduce the spread of COVID-19? If so, report them immediately. Use SMART or BTL and call 0800-PARTIES. That's 0800-727-8432. Our COVID-19 hotlines are available 24/7. These violators are putting your health and everyone you love at risk. Call our COVID-19 hotlines and report all violators. This message was brought to you by the Belize Police Department.
On Friday in the House of Representatives, Minister of Natural Resources Cordell Hyde exposed a major land fraud scheme, which he said was orchestrated by UDP political operatives in Cayo. According to information dug up by Hyde's team since taking over the ministry, the schemers would use government databases to take the names and social security numbers of persons requesting assistance from government. From there, lands would be placed in these names without the persons ever knowing, and then transferred to UDP personalities. One man who says he knows all about it is Eddie De La Rosa. He's a former UDP political operative now living in the U.S. He says he moved there for his own safety. He told us today that what Hyde exposed is just the proverbial tip of the iceberg.
Were there other people whose name was used based on their social security information without their knowledge?
Jules, I believe those are, well, I know those are just not in the beginning, Jules, to tell you all what I know and all what I have evidence for, no? So those are not even nothing compared to what I know and what evidence I have.
How many parcels of land would you say were obtained in this manner using this scheme?
More than 50 for sure, Jules. More than 50. More than 50. I wouldn't give you a specific number because I want to tell the Belizean people with the. I want to show it, Jules. I want to give evidence for. I just can't. I want to keep my credibility strong.
Okay, but so were these lots? Were these individual lots, or were they acreages, farmlands?
We had a lot of. They had a lot of cases where there were lots and a lot of acreages. I mean, you heard it on the house. I mean, there is nothing that there's a lot of acreage.
Eddie, was this happening only in the Cayo district?
No, sir. I mean, Keys, out in the Keys, mostly, and in Santa Elena, and in some other villages, no. But I would really like to see something to be done, if much as returning back these properties or these lands to the humble people of Cayo Central, no.
Was it only land fraud schemes that you're aware of?
Jules, they're a lot more than you can ever imagine.
Are you prepared to offer evidence for all these things you assert?
I'm not prepared. I'm ready, Jules. I'm just waiting for the land department to do their proper investigation. I'm not prepared. I've been ready. I'm being ready. So I will be, like what I said, I will be cooperating with the Ministry of Lands and the police department or the audit department or the immigration department or whichever ministry contact me to give them information, I am willing to.
De La Rosa will appear on Plus TV's Rise and Shine tomorrow, where he says he will talk about a fraudulent visa program he is also aware of. We reached Rene Montero Sr.'s attorney, his son Rene Montero Jr., for comment this evening. He told us, quote, "We will immediately file claims against any media house that makes defamatory statements against my client. Making a statement does not mean it's true, and you are being forewarned that we will sue against these baseless and untrue allegations." Another of Belize's doctors has succumbed to COVID-19. Dr. Baldomino Barbosa, a veteran physician, passed away over the weekend from the disease that he had been grappling with from late last year. Early this year, he was gripped by serious complications, which led to his death at the Belize Healthcare Partners Limited on Saturday night. It's a major loss for the North, where Dr. Barbosa was an institution. He served as the first internist in the northern region for 25 years. This afternoon, we heard from two of his colleagues in the medical field who told us about his professionalism and his unmatched bedside manner.
Over the weekend, the nation lost another hardworking, caring physician. Dr. Baldomino Barbosa is just the latest of 5 people from his Orange Walk neighborhood who have succumbed to the virus. A reality that clearly illustrates how widespread and devastating the virus has become in the north.
It has been very, very difficult. It was very fast. Let's say in less than 2 weeks, he started to present symptoms, and of course, as all of us sometimes think that the other person is going to be able to cope with it and that everything will be okay. But he started to have some breathing difficulties, and then we started to see that that was not really looking as how we all wanted. But it has really, it has been really a big loss for us.
Throughout his career, Barbosa had been part of the executive of the Belize Medical and Dental Association. He was also the director and regional manager of the northern part of the country. It was in that role that he made quite a few improvements in the public sector, strides for which he's not likely to be forgotten.
Actually, he was just working right now at the private, but he had a long history of working at the public sector. Okay, so that really gave him, I would say, the expertise and the experience of treating all types of patients with respect to internal medicine.
And among those at the clinic feeling the loss are the nursing staff whom Barbosa supervised. This afternoon, one of those nurses, Patricia Pena, told us that Barbosa was more than just their boss.
Dr. Barbosa, especially for us here at Northern Medical Plaza, he was a big doctor. What could I say? Especially for nursing, he was the one in charge of the emergency department, in which he performed a very, very good job. All the nurses, we enjoy working with him. Most of the time he spent there at nursing. With his patient, he was loving. He will always find a solution for his patients. Whenever the patient lived, he attend to them, the patient will go satisfied. Doctor will always find a solution for the problem. What we could say, I'm talking on all the nurses, he was there for all of us. Whenever you have a problem, he will find a solution. He will hear your problems. He will be there for you. And I'm talking of each of us individually. You could go, he will tell you, come to my office. You will sit there with him. If you want to talk, he will be there to hear you.
And while he showed an uncanny reserve of compassion, he also had a passion for the past. As a young boy, Barbosa would visit a grandfather who lived in Libertad village. While there, he delighted in learning about medicinal plants and home remedies. And that spark could have very well kick-started his journey into medicine.
His profession as a medical practitioner, of course, might have sparked that interest to know different forms of medicinal practices that were around in history. Because this indigenous knowledge that was passed on to him from his grandfather is known to us. We know it as our heritage. That's part of our heritage. All of the contributions that he has made throughout, all of the knowledge that he has shared with us, all of the sincerity, that is something that we will miss, because he would always contribute. We often value the input of our elders because we are young. There's a lot that we don't know about our heritage, and it's the elders that we depend on to teach us and to help us to learn our heritage correctly so that we may preserve it and in turn teach it to others.
In later years, Barbosa became that wise old elder, and while he couldn't have known he'd be swept away by the pandemic, he seems to have made sure to leave a legacy. Cherise Halsall, 7 News.
A release from the Belize Medical and Dental Association says, quote, that Dr. Baldomino Barbosa championed many causes for his colleagues. He was actively involved in improving their working conditions and was able to secure them improved salaries and on-call allowances, end quote. At the end of that release, the organization bid farewell to the great man in English as well as the Mayan language that had been so dear to him. And now on to political news. On Friday, we told you that Prime Minister is calling for Steve Pereira's resignation as chairman of the Elections and Boundaries Commission. Today, Pereira responded to those comments but was still non-committal on whether he will stay or go. But a 4-page statement makes it clear that he's under no compulsion to go. Instead, he fired off a statement answering questions about the position as chairman of the E&B. He ended the 4-paged document urging the PM and the UDP to read the relevant section of the law, and that makes it clear that his appointment is apolitical, suggesting very clearly that he has no obligation to resign. And while Pereira has not given a concrete answer, PM Briceño's comments in the House of Representatives was solid. He's appointed by the UDP, and the moral choice is for him to step down.
When it comes to Steve Pereira is my friend.
Oh, man.
Not yours, but they're my friend. But everybody knows that Steve Pereira is a UDP, and I told him, Steve, married a friend, but you're a UDP, and that's fine. That's your decision. When the former Prime Minister appointed Steve Pereira, 2 or 3 months before the general elections, he knew that an election was going to come. He never appointed Steve Pereira for 3 months or 6 months. He appointed Steve Pereira for 5 years. 5 years. And now, when you appoint the Elections and Boundaries Commission, check this out. Check this out. You appoint 2 members from the opposition, we appoint 2, and then you have Steve Pereira, so you control the Elections and Boundaries Commission. You think we're stupid? That's the problem. We don't think we're so smart. We don't think we're so smart. But I'm saying publicly right now, Steve Pereira needs to do the decent and honest thing, and he needs to resign from the Elections and Boundaries Commission. The practice has always been that they resign. It has always been the practice that they resign, and Steve Pereira must resign from the Elections and Boundaries Commission.
We reached out to Pereira, who declined an interview at this time, but did say that the document is solely for the purpose of educating the public and not an indication of his decision. We'll take a break now, and when we come back, we'll show you how the cross-border smuggling is back in effect in the north. Plus, a smuggler ran out of gas because his tank was full of weed. And later on, we'll show you the new Miss Belize universe. Is she ready for the world? We'll find out. Don't go away.
Honda outboards, and Best Sport kayaks. When it's time to service your vehicle or equipment, you can find the brands you trust at Benquip. We carry a large inventory of Castrol oils, NGK spark plugs, and a full range of cleaning products from Magic. Get power when you need it with trade winds and Honda generators. For those businesses looking for increased productivity and a safe working environment, our proven and respective line of TCM forklifts will not let you down. We also have trimmers and lawnmowers from Honda and Husqvarna, so you can keep your yard and surroundings properly maintained. So visit Benquip today at 3 miles on the Philip Golson Highway to get the equipment, parts, and service you need.
Pelican, the beer of Belize.
Welcome to the beautiful and quiet town of Popsville, home of agriculture, industry, and family. And in a local coffee shop not too far away, Devin meets up with Keisha to share what he's learned from his persistent organic pollutants workshop. Tell me, Keisha, have you ever heard about POPs?
POPs? What's a POP?
POPs, short for pollutants, are a group of carbon-based harmful to our health convention classified as harmful, persistence, accumulation, toxicity, and long-range transport. This means that POPs cares and can seriously affect our health and the environment. That's right, Keisha. So pay attention to these main sources of POPs. To date, there are 16 known pesticides that have been identified as persistent organic pollutants. POPs, pesticides including DDT and lindane, can especially have long-term effects on our health and environment and should be avoided at all costs. Polychlorinated biphenyls are chemicals found in some industrial equipment manufactured before 1985 and were used to reduce the occurrence of fires in electrical equipment. Try avoiding contact with these items. Perfluorooctane sulfonic acids, or PFAS for short, may be found in several common household items that make everyday life easier, so pay attention to the type of items you choose to buy. Brominated flame retardants, PBDEs, and HBCD are man-made chemicals added to a variety of products such as dashboards and foaming seats to make them less flammable. Unintentional persistent organic pollutants are formed due to several chemical processes or improper combustion processes, such as open burning of waste. So you see, Keisha, POPs may be found right under our noses.
So what can happen to me if I'm exposed to these POPs?
Well, short-term exposure can cause symptoms like headaches, dizziness, and nausea, but staying in contact with these chemicals over prolonged periods and exposure to high concentrations can potentially make you very sick. Special precaution must be taken as pregnant women and developing children are most at risk when exposed to POPs. So now you know a little bit more on POPs, where they may be found, and how they can affect you. For more information on how to manage and dispose of POPs containing products and waste, contact your local waste management agency or visit www.stopthepops.com for more info. Sometimes danger lurks where you least expect it. The more you know, the healthier you can grow.
You've worked hard your whole life building your future, your family, your business, your home. And when you aren't around to safeguard your most beloved assets, you are at ease because you know they are protected by RF&G Insurance. For over 50 years, RF&G has been making sure business owners get back to work after an accident, and families get back into their homes quickly after a natural disaster. At RF&G, it's you who matters most. Visit us today and learn why it pays to get it right. RF&G Insurance, a Rowe Group company.
You have a neighbor throwing a party? Do you know of anyone holding a social event? Have you seen people not following protocols set in place to reduce the spread of COVID-19? If so, report them immediately. Use SMART or BTL and call 0800-PARTIES. That's 0800-727-8432. Our COVID-19 hotlines are available 24/7. These violators are putting your health and everyone you love at risk. Call our COVID-19 hotlines and report all violators. This message was brought to you by the Belize Police Department.
Contraband is the illegal importation of goods such as alcohol, tobacco, foods, and parts. Apart from breaking the law, smugglers are also now endangering the health of all Belizeans. They risk bringing coronavirus into Belize with their contraband. To keep COVID-19 out of Belize, everyone entering the country is screened and quarantined. But contraband smugglers are not using legal entry points and are bypassing all safety measures. And these same smugglers are moving among the population, they could be carrying the virus. By coming into the country illegally, they could cause outbreaks of COVID-19. Buying or smuggling contraband is putting yourself, your family, and the entire country at risk. Report smuggling. For SMART, call 0800-JUMPERS or 0800-BORDERS. For Digi, 0800-SAVE-BZE. This message is brought to you by the Belize Police Department and the Belize Bank.
El contrabando es importar ilegalmente productos como el alcohol, tabaco, comida y objetos. Aparte de romper la ley, los contrabandistas están poniendo ahora en riesgo la salud de los beliceños. Ellos arriesgan traer coronavirus a Belice por medio de sus contrabandos. Para mantener el COVID-19 fuera de Belice, todos los que entren al país son examinados y encuarentenados. Sin embargo, los contrabandistas no utilizan los puntos de entrada legal y se saltan todas las medidas de seguridad. Estos mismos traficantes se están moviendo entre la población. Ellos podrían tener el virus. Al entrar ilícitamente al país, esto puede provocar un brote de COVID-19. Comprar o traficar contrabando te pone a ti, a tu familia y a todo tu país en riesgo. Para números de SMART, llama al 0800-586-7377, 0800-267-3377 y para Digi 0800-728-3293 para reportar cualquier actividad de contrabando. Este mensaje es presentado por el Departamento de Policía de Belice y el Banco de Belice.
Two women went to court today after they were caught illegally crossing the border in the August Pine Ridge area of Orange Walk. Officers from the mobile interdiction team were conducting an operation at an illegal landing site in the vicinity of the rice field behind the village when they saw a large canoe entering a channel. What caught their attention was that the canoe was loaded with goods. The persons inside the canoe were unloading the goods when the officers identified themselves. The smugglers ran in different directions, but the officers managed to capture and detain 44-year-old Dina Sanchez and 23-year-old Jennifer Garrido, both of Guinea Grass Village. When the officers examined the contents of the canoe, they found an assortment of vegetables and other food items, sodas, alcoholic beverages, clothing, and other household products. The officers also found an abandoned blue pickup truck. The truck, the items, a 16-foot canoe, and the two detainees were all taken to the Orange Walk Customs House pending charges. Reports tell us that San Victor, another smuggling hotspot, is teeming with contraband activity right now. And from that contraband bust in Orange Walk, we turn now to a major marijuana bust in the Belize district. Reliable sources tell 7 News that at around 11:20 on Saturday morning, police from the anti-narcotics unit spotted a taxi van with Corozal license plate on the side of the Philip Golson Highway near Sandhill Village. The vehicle appeared to have broken down on the road, and so the officers stopped to offer help. Information to our newsroom is that as soon as the officers approached the vehicle, they picked up the strong scent of marijuana. So they searched inside the vehicle and found 11 parcels of weed behind the driver's seat. That driver was identified to us as 31-year-old Jose Maldonado, a resident of Corozal Town. At the time of the drug bust, he was traveling with his common-law wife, 27-year-old Reina Gongara, a resident of Chanchen Village. Because the vehicle was reportedly giving trouble to start, the cops towed it to the Ladyville station. A mechanic was called in to check on it, and when he dropped the tank on the van, he found another 20 parcels of marijuana inside. The cops eventually stripped the vehicle down and found 7 more parcels concealed under the dashboard. The total amount of drugs found in this vehicle was 21.4 kilos or 47 pounds. At today's police press briefing in Belmopan, we asked the deputy head of the National Criminal Investigations Branch about this. One more bust of weed coming in from the north.
On Saturday, around 10:30 p.m., police based on intelligence received, conducted a search on a taxi van in Ladyville, which led to the discovery of 38 parcels of suspected cannabis amounting to 21.4 kilograms. Inside the van at the time was Jose Maldonado and Reina Gongora, and they have both since been arrested and charged for possession of controlled drugs with intent to supply.
Sir, are these people from the Corozal district or the Belize district?
They are from the Corozal district.
The suspected origin of these drugs?
An investigation is being conducted to try and establish the origin.
Is there any suspicion that it's from across the border, sir?
That is a possibility. We're looking at that, and it was based on intelligence that was obtained.
Police tell us that they intended to arraign the couple today in the magistrate's court on the charge of possession of controlled drugs with the intent to supply. Keeping it in Corozal this weekend, the cops found 2 dangerous assault rifles that were stashed inside a car believed to have been stolen in Mexico and transported to Belize. Several weeks ago, police found this gray Volkswagen Jetta abandoned on a feeder road just outside Corozal town. They were finally able to gain entrance to the vehicle last Friday, and that's when they found 2 AK-47 rifles inside. Here's what the head of the National Criminal Investigations Branch had to say about this discovery.
On Friday last, sometime around 4:30 p.m., police officers, with the assistance of a locksmith, conducted a search on a grey in color Volkswagen Jetta car that is in police custody. This car was found several weeks ago in a bushy area of a feeder road in the Corozal district, where when checks were made through Interpol, it revealed that this vehicle was stolen in Mexico. This, along with another vehicle, was then transported to the police training academy where they were kept pending the outcome of that investigation. And then on Friday, with the assistance of the locksmith, the vehicle was opened, where it revealed a blue bag containing 2 AK-47 rifles and a package of marijuana weighing some 970 grams. Those items were retrieved and deposited as found property, as there was no indication that this vehicle had any owner in Belize.
At this time, the cops have 2 theories about this vehicle. The first is that there would have an attempt to get documentation to legalize ownership of this vehicle in Belize to cover the fact that it was stolen across the border. Another possibility is that it would have been stripped for parts. He was a part of the 28 inmate escape at the Belize Central Prison on October 12th. And tonight, after being on the run for 13 weeks, Gerard Steele Bob Lamb is a fugitive no more. He was captured this weekend in the village of Ontario, Cayo. At today's press briefing, the police shared a few details about how they were able to track him down.
On Saturday, sometime around 10:30 a.m., police were on operation in Ontario Village, where they were conducting searches in a bushy area off the highway in Ontario Village, where they observed escaped prisoner Gerard Lamb hiding in some bushes. As a result, police shouted at him, and he then attempted to make good his escape, where one single shot was fired towards his direction, which caught him in his left calf. As a result, he was then captured and transported to the Western Regional Hospital, and then later to the Carl Hushner Memorial Hospital, where he remains under police guard. It is intelligence because the police has been in that area for some time, based on the information we were getting that he was in that area, there have been several operations carried out in that area in order to try and recapture him.
Sir, there is an allegation that he was not running and that he was not resisting arrest when he was shot by the police.
Well, I think that the only person who could answer that would have been himself and the police officers, as there was no one else there aside from him and the officers.
Sir, can you also respond to the allegation that after he was shot, he was left to bleed out in the pickup back for at least 30 minutes and that the police officers refused to take him to the hospital, and as a result, he is now hospitalized in need of blood?
I am not aware of that allegation other than the operation that was carried out. I knew after he was recaptured, he was then transported to the Western Regional Hospital.
From that historic prison break, only 2 more inmates remain on the run, Michael Fox and Erwin Lanza. We also asked police to discuss last Friday's shooting of 25-year-old William Archila, a resident of Youth for the Future Drive in Belize City. Police say that at around 6:58 p.m. that evening, Archila was standing in front of a home on Ebony Street. A black car pulled up at the Youth for the Future Drive intersection. Someone got out and fired several gunshots at Archila, who was injured to the body and rushed to the KHMH. Here's what police had to say about it.
Police responded to a shooting incident on Ebony Street. Upon their arrival, they received information that someone had been taken to the KHMH. They visited KHMH where they found William Archila, 25 years, with gunshot injuries to the body. He reported he was standing on Ebony Street when a car came. A person exited and fired shots towards his direction, causing the injuries to him. He is now at the KHMH in a stable condition at this time.
Sir, do you all have any information on the origin of this particular shooting?
Yeah, we believe it is related to gang activity in that area.
Care to give us any further details on what sort of things?
He is from that area and he was targeted by other persons from another area.
The cops say that Archila is someone known to them due to past encounters. And while the cops are looking for that gunman, they aren't so sure that unidentified human remains found near Benque Viejo town in Cayo are those of a murder victim. 7 News understands that at around 9:30 on Saturday morning, the cops were escorted to the site where a decomposing body was found. Today, the head of the National Criminal Investigations Branch told us what they know so far.
On Saturday, sometime around 9:30 a.m., police were called to an area on the Black Rock Road in the Cayo district, where somewhere near the Macal River, some 25 feet away, the skeletal remains of seemingly a male person was found. The scene was processed and the remains were removed and transported to the medical lab where it is awaiting a post-mortem examination.
So no identity at this time?
At this time, no. The remains from the investigation seem to have been out there for some time, and we do believe that it was the flood waters some 2 months ago that had brought it onshore where it was found.
The cops are currently trying to find out the identity of these remains. And while police investigate the circumstances surrounding these skeletal remains, they are also looking into a non-fatal car accident that happened yesterday afternoon in Belize City. Residents in the area of Amara Avenue described hearing a loud noise and then seeing the victim on the ground with his bicycle nearby. But while he survived the deadly corner of Dean and Amara streets, not everyone was so lucky. The area is a recurrent scene of accidents, some worse than others, and residents are appealing for something to be done. Courtney Menzies has this story.
A man was rushed to the hospital yesterday afternoon after he was knocked off his bike at the corner of Dean and Amara streets. Details of the incident are scarce, but reports are that he was already halfway across the street when a vehicle ran into him. Today, there was still a blood stain on the street, presumably from a head injury he sustained. His condition at this time is currently unknown. But what we do know is how deadly the corner of Amara and Dean Streets can be, and one resident living there says she is tired of the car accidents and hopes that something can be done before more lives are lost.
Well, all I have to say that they need to put bump to the corner of the lane. Every time so much accident happen there for years and they do nothing to it. You have 2 people were dead from the corner already, so I don't know if they want a lot more dead. They're running on my fence so much time until one of these days they might kill me and my people in the house. So the government need to do what they got to do.
You said that your grandson almost got hit one day?
Yes, one day in this week he nearly get hit. So that's about time for them to do something to that. Whichever 4 corners, they have to put the bump, they have to put it because nobody wants to stop. So they need to get rid of that and do the right thing.
The fatal incident she was referring to was the tragic death of 86-year-old Gudela Esteves. She was walking her grandson to school back in February 2019 when they were both hit by a vehicle while crossing the street. The elderly woman died 2 weeks later at her home on Ebony Street. We spoke with her granddaughter shortly after her death.
My auntie was sleeping with her this morning, last night. She was sleeping with her, and this morning she wake up to me, and she went and told me that make I go check my grandmother, right? So I went and checked on her, and well, she was practically dying this morning. Around 3, you said? At 3 o'clock this morning, she died.
Another boy was hit nearly a year before Esteves, but miraculously, he survived. A traumatic history at this one corner that justifies the residents' cry for a speed bump. Courtney Menzies, 7 News.
Last week we told you about the tragic death of 14-year-old Maynor Shamir Itza. He was found dead on New Year's Day in a seated position in the bed of his host, 28-year-old Jose Puk. Itza had received a New Year's Eve phone call which prompted him to break curfew and sneak out of his house to attend a social event at Puk's home. It was at that event that Itza reportedly became too intoxicated to leave. A postmortem found that he died of acute respiratory distress. And tonight we can report that Puk has been arrested and charged, not in connection with the young man's death, but for the offense of hosting a restricted social gathering on the night of the teen's death. We are told that investigations into this matter remain ongoing and will keep following this story. A sad night. New COVID deaths reported. And the new Miss Universe Belize that is crowned. But is she ready for the world? And the George Price holiday is official, but not everyone agrees that this national hero should have his own holiday. Don't go away.
At BenQuip, we offer a complete line of Honda products featuring the most trusted and reliable line of motorcycles in Belize. For outdoor and marine recreation, we have Polaris ATVs and UTVs, Volvo Pentamarine Solutions, Honda Outboards, and Best Sport Kayaks. When it's time to service your vehicle or equipment, you can find the brands you trust at BenQuip. We carry a large inventory of Castrol oils, NGK spark plugs, and a full range of cleaning products from Magic. Get power when you need it with trade winds and Honda generators. For those businesses looking for increased productivity and a safe working environment, our proven and respective line of TCM forklifts will not let you down. We also have trimmers and lawnmowers from Honda and Husqvarna, so you can keep your yard and surroundings properly maintained. So visit BenQuip today at 3 miles on the Philip Golson Highway to get the equipment, parts, and service you need.
It's now easier to monitor your energy usage with the BEL 24/7 mobile app. Just simply take a photo of your current meter number, open the app, go to Calculator, and from the list, select Smart Calculator. Choose your meter number followed by your kilowatt hours, then press Calculate. With this powerful feature, you can easily manage your energy usage. Download the BEL 24/7 mobile app from Google Play or the Apple Store today.
for hydration. When the choice is yours, choose the brand you have always trusted. Crystal Water. Taste you can trust.
Welcome back to Popsville, where Grandpa Keith and his neighbor Martin are hard at work making way for another big junk haul. But this scrap party is about to come crashing down. Back from a school workshop about Pops, it might be time for Adita to start putting her knowledge to practice.
Did you know that when you dismantle old electronics and car parts, you're exposing yourself and others to persistent organic pollutants? Don't you know what POPs are and their dangers? Well, come, let me show you.
When we dismantle outdated electronics like old TVs, computer monitors, and smartphones, we expose ourselves and our families to highly hazardous chemicals that can affect our health in the long and short term. Not so fast, Martin. This goes for you too. Improper dismantling and disposal of end-of-life vehicles can also release dangerous fumes, which can make your family and those around you very ill. Burning plastic from cables and other e-waste can also create health risks. But if you follow these simple tips, you can prevent the worst from happening. When ready to get rid of your old electronics, contact authorized recyclers and dealers on proper instructions on how to safely dispose of unwanted items. While it's nice to have new things, buying too much can overwhelm our homes with clutter. If you need to purchase, choose long-lasting products or items that are highly recyclable to reduce these hazards. Make sure to check the labels on carpets and mattresses before purchasing, as certain countries require that these products are manufactured with flame retardants that may be hazardous when exposed to us over time. For a safer alternative, consider switching to carpets or mattresses made with POPs-free materials. And finally, it's very important to recycle. Recycling often helps reduce any buildup of unwanted items in homes and yards, keeping us all free from potentially hazardous pollutants. For more information on recycling or on disposing products of concern, contact your local waste management agency or visit stopthepops.com for more details. Sometimes danger lurks where you least expect it. The more you know, the healthier you can grow.
There's one new COVID death to report tonight. We apologize for the error of saying 11 before the break. There is only one death, and there is a dramatic decrease in cases compared to the daily hundreds that were being reported late last year. Only 29 new cases were identified today, taken from 259 tests for a positivity rate of 10%. There is one death of a single male in Corozal. Information officer at the Ministry of Health, Claudette Dakers-Norales, breaks down today's numbers.
A total of 290 samples were tested. Out of this, 29 samples have resulted positive for COVID-19. There are 28 individuals newly under investigation. There are 22 new recoveries to report. Today, we also report that 12 infected persons are hospitalized. Unfortunately, 2 of these individuals are being treated at the intensive care unit. Sadly, there is one new death to report. As we move forward with the expansion of testing using rapid tests and reports coming in from the private sector, you will notice an increase in the numbers of confirmed cases and total tests done. Additionally, this report is cumulative since March 2020 when we had our first case. The new total of active cases now stands at 638. These are those persons who have been confirmed and are within the time frame to transmit the virus. To date, 63,250 samples have been tested nationally. Out of this, 11,332 samples have resulted positive for COVID-19. 28 individuals are under investigation. A total of 275 deaths have been reported. But we are pleased to report that there are 10,419 total recoveries. The heat map shows the districts mostly affected. The greatest number of cases are seen in Belize, Stann Creek, and Toledo. Belize reported 50 new cases, with Belize City responsible for all 15 new cases. Stann Creek District reported 6 cases, with Dangriga Town being the community mostly affected and accounting for a total of 2 cases. Toledo reported 3 new cases from Bella Vista, San Antonio, and San Pedro, Colombia, each responsible for 1 new case. Corozal District reported 2 new cases, with Corozal Town and Shunush responsible for those cases. Lastly, Orange Walk and Cayo reported 1 new case each.
She's the new Miss Universe Belize, and even in a time of austerity, Iris Salguero has begun her quest, her very expensive quest for the Miss Universe crown. But in the midst of a pandemic, will Belizeans support her dream, one that many have already stamped as purely frivolous? And upon her ascension, Cherise Halsall took a look at the journey of the last 3 queens and what their efforts have done or failed to do for Belize. Here's that story.
We are halfway there with Miss Belize.
It happened once, over 40 years ago. A Belizean delegate placed in the top 10 at the Olympics of Beauty, Miss Universe. It's a success that Belizean pageant organizers have been unable to duplicate. Since then, Belize's road to Miss Universe has been marked by triumphs and scandals, but the show went on. And last year, the delegate wearing the crown was Belizean-American Destiny Arnold, arguably the most professional candidate Belize has ever sent to an international pageant. Still, she ultimately failed to place. Now, another queen has been chosen, albeit virtually. She is Iris Salguero, a Sanpedrana who's raring to make her mark on Belizean pageantry.
I think that my experience has helped me to grow into my confidence, into my empowerment. Even though I have experience, there's always room for improvement. That goes down to my training, to my walk, perfecting it with my trainer, Rafael Pimentel. I'm grateful for him. He's really, really experienced, and you know, it's a lot of work, but I'm willing to put that effort. And of course, with my speech coach, we're just fine-tuning my answers to my contract, to my bio for Miss Universe, but we are training very hard, and it requires sometimes some very late nights and some early mornings, but you know, when it's something you want from the bottom of your heart, it's not just about the glitz and glamour, it's about the higher purpose and platform that I want to achieve with Miss Universe.
But these are no longer Sarita Acosta's times, and in this brave new world of social media, what are the real chances for a delegate from Belize? Many of her competitors are already global brands, some of whom boast hundreds of thousands of followers. A fact that means that Iris will have to find a way to mobilize a nation, and quick.
I think that even though my followers aren't at the highest rates, it's more about the message that I am sending. It is about my platform. I was a victim of domestic abuse. I want to speak up because there are women that are still suffering in silence. Just last year, I witnessed a young lady, Maricela, being murdered by the person who was abusing her for years. I want to bring that topic to light. And that's the strength and that's the message that I want to bring to my followers.
Her country director, Romeo Escobar, believes she's up to the challenge.
Romeo, these are trying times where the country is broke, and this endeavor is a very expensive one. We've sent 3-4 queens since the country got back its license, and none of them have placed. At this point, it could be argued that Belize is celebrating mediocrity. How are you planning to change that this time?
You have to understand that Miss Universe is the biggest platform in the world besides the World Cup. To not be part of that platform for our country is a mistake. To be featured, which last year Destiny Arnold was featured throughout the show despite not placing, that attention that she received around the world, that's telling us something. And no matter if we no place, we're causing attention. And that's what Belize needs, hopefully once this pandemic is over. We want to bring back tourism here. We want people to come back. Yes, financially it's difficult. The committee has oftentimes had to revolve on our own, paying for our own expenses. But we've been lucky to have a couple of sponsors that have been loyal to us from the very beginning.
A new queen with her own unique purpose in a time of austerity, when the tough and very expensive journey ahead may still serve as a symbol and ultimately offer the nation some hope. Cherise Halto, 7 News.
The Miss Universe pageant is expected to take place in April. Several countries licensed to participate, such as Germany, have abstained from sending representatives this year. And while the new Miss Universe hopes to make it into Belize's history books, one man who has filled those pages will be celebrated on Friday. January 15th is George Price's birthday, and for the first time ever, it will be a holiday. This motion was passed in the House of Representatives on Friday to declare that holiday, and another for Freedom Day, which will be on August 1st, when Belize will join other Caribbean nations to commemorate the emancipation of enslaved people in the Caribbean. Additionally, the PUP proposed removing the October 12th holiday known as Pan American Day, previously Columbus Day. And while very few would cry for Columbus, George Price is another matter completely. The father of the nation has a tight connection to Belizean heartstrings. But the new holiday has stirred debate throughout Belize as to whether or not Price merits his own holiday, especially when March 9th is already set aside as National Heroes and Benefactors Day. It also caused a debate in the House when opposition leader Patrick Faber rose in disagreement. He claimed that the PUP was trying to shine the light on one national hero while neglecting the other.
Some time ago, the administration of the UDP saw it fit to recategorize March 9th and to make it a day to honor our national heroes, of which there are only 2, George Price, the Right Honorable George Price, and the Honorable Philip Golson. And we chose to as well commemorate on that very day, which was already the case, we commemorate Baron Bliss Day. There has been an attempt, a continuous attempt, on the part of the People's United Party, especially when they're in government, to play up one national hero over the other national hero, who I think it is indisputable, although they will try, it is indisputable, it should be indisputable, that both of these men contributed greatly to Belize's development, and that is why they are both designated as national heroes. We are taking away a day on October 12th that is used to celebrate many people in our country, the indigenous people, the people of different races. And we are now saying one person should get a holiday that we already have a day that is designated to honor him. And again, I repeat, for those who will insist on making mischief, that it is not to downplay the Right Honorable George Price's contribution.
Minister of Education Francis Fonseca responded to Fabus, saying that while Philip Golson might be the UDP's Prince of Patriotism, he's no father of the nation. PM John Briceño also stood up to justify the removal of Pan American Day.
We've always had great respect on this side for the Right Honourable, the Honourable Philip Golson, and for his contributions to Belize, Belize's political development, and to Belize's national development. But there is only one George Price. There is only one father of the nation. There is only one father of independence. And if we can't celebrate the father of the nation, the father of independence, if we cannot recognize and appreciate and celebrate a public and bank holiday in honor of that individual, then everything else in terms of holidays are meaningless.
When we started talking about designating these holidays, we felt it was important, yes, that we need to do George Price, but also that we need to join the rest of the world in celebrating Emancipation Day. And that is why we felt that we have to come up with these two new holidays. But if you speak to a lot of people, they're telling you that we already have a lot of holidays in this country, and we did not want to add more. And this is why initially there was a talk about reducing or removing October the 12th, which started off as Columbus Day, which is certainly, that's a day of infamy, because they came into this part of the world and they plundered the Americas and murdered millions of indigenous people. So after we started having that discussion amongst ourselves, we felt, along with the Minister of Home Affairs and New Industries, to say that we need to fix it.
An official release says, quote, October 12th, celebrated as Pan American Day, is to be renamed. A special committee will be established to determine the official list of public and bank holidays. The announcement of the official changes in the public and bank holidays will be done at a later time, end quote. The PSU flexed some muscle on Friday, sending out two releases to condemn government actions and rhetoric. The first addressed complaints from former open vote workers, regulations, and who have been terminated since the election. The union has since tasked its industrial relations officer to review the legalities of these terminations and to determine whether or not they can be classified as political victimization. They also urged members to keep a vigilant eye out for such victimization as well as unwarranted political hiring. The weekend's second PSU release addressed comments made by the Minister of Infrastructure, Development and Housing. Those comments suggested that, quote, not a single public officer came forward to report the wrongdoings of the former Minister of Works and his CEO over the years, that the abuse and fleecing of government assets persisted under the previous administration, end quote. But the PSU insists it's not so, pointing to the Auditor General's report of May 31st of 2012, in which she emphasized abuses and corruption then prevalent in the Ministry of Works. They also say that the quote then paid opposition, now government, upon reading the report, failed to agitate for an audit. Finally, the PSU claimed on the call, that is on the minister, to join them in the introduction of a Whistleblowers Act and the introduction of legislation to protect whistleblowers, and suggested that such an act be tabled at the next sitting of the House of Representatives. And that's all we have for you for tonight. Thanks for watching With Your News. I'm Indira Craig. Remember that you can see a streaming video of this newscast at 7newsbelize.com, brought to you by Digi for the best postpaid plans in the country. Remember now to wash your hands, to wear a mask at all times in public, and to keep your social distance. Remember also that curfew starts at 8 tonight, so please stay inside. Join me back here tomorrow at 6, and until then, have a great night.